Welcome back, ladies and gents. Yes, I know I'm starting another series. Yes, I still intend on finishing this one. Or, this one, as well as all the others. But for now, we're gonna focus on this one. We're back to Rimworld, upon special request, and as well as it is the game that I'm most interested in at this time. And I thought I would swap a few things up that I've never done before upon, well, because this is a special request, I want to try something new. I have a goal in mind. I have rules set placed, and I've actually built kind of a backstory for this. So to start with, we will read the backstory. I will give you a bit of lore, and we'll go from there. So this is the ideology that we made. It's loyalist, collectivist, transhumanist, human primacy. The narrative goes something like this. Long ago, there was a group of 12 kingdoms that ruled this very world, as in this very Rimworld. Their kingdoms flourished, people prospered, crops flourished. I know I said flourished twice. It was a mistake. And even animals were abundant. One day, the leaders gathered together and made a pact to forever leave this world behind, leaving their people in charge. Skip a several thousand years later, new cultures have sprung up, as well as conflict and chaos. Now there are rumors that this group is forming again with 12 new lords to help keep peace in the land. Scorpio, if I could pull up the scenario. People called you crazy for leaving your home behind, but ever since you were a little child, you wanted to bring justice to those who have done wrong. And so Scorpio decided to go out on a mere myth and try and bring back the peace from this land a long time ago and hopefully spread it across, well, rid of the galaxy at that point, but one planet at a time. So with this, I don't want to go through all the precepts, so if you're interested to look, here you go. You can stop and pause the video and look. I think some of the biggest ones I did change was execution is respected if guilty. And I think that's about it. While, yes, we will be doing a lot of fighting, corpses are still ugly to us because we still don't like seeing the dead. We wish it could be any other way, but it unfortunately can't for specific people. Our rules, we have the Lord as the leader, the Cleric as the moral guide, the Blacksmith as the production specialist, and the Wizard as the research specialist. The Lord, being a leader, we need a Lord of the Lords in a way, because I do intend on having 12 colonists, and I'll get into that a bit later, but they're all essentially going to be a Lord one day. So, for now, we just need one ruling this colony. The Cleric being, they have one of their abilities to preach health, as well as they also have convert and reassure and counsel. It seemed like a fitting role. I guess I could have done priest as well. The production specialist being a blacksmith because they're renowned for making excellent swords and armor. The wizard being a research specialist because I'm going based off of Merlin from the, I can't remember the story, but the Round Table with Arthur and them. I think it's actually called Arthur and the Round Table or something. But the idea that most, not necessarily scholars, but specific people who could do magic, so to say, were considered wizards because they could do magical things from what people believed. The rituals we have a funeral named Mourning of the Fallen, a dance party called the Festival, because yes, they did have semi dance parties, more of festivals back then. The social festival, we have two. Both of those are more of our spin in the past, probably roughly 4,000 years on this religion, uh, how we interpret it. And social festival, we have the feast and the gathering. Uh, one, because we have our ritual room is called the round table. So the idea is we're gathering. And actually, the reason why we have two is one, the feast has a chance to get us a nether recruit. The gathering gives us a chance to discover a ancient complex nearby, which will also get to in this series. Um, the idea being we are planning out our moves on this, myth we heard or a rumor we heard from a faction that there might be an ancient complex nearby, so to say. And then our last one is our Sky Lantern Festival, which is a message to the fallen, as we are sending lights up into the sky for them. Our buildings are a pew, Archonic Shrine, and the Statue of Loyalty. Our relics. The relics. The idea is there was a sword long ago, and we are trying to get the pieces back together, not to form it again, but just to have it and relish it as the once artifact that it was, or I guess the once powerful weapon it was that now has become an artifact. And so we have the hilt of the old one, the spine of the old one, and the blade of the old one. And then our venerated animals are a palamute. Now you may be thinking, there aren't any palamutes in base game Rimworld. You are correct. The two biggest mod changes I have, or the two mods that I have that actually change the game in any relevant way, is replace stuff, which just allows you to replace walls without having to destroy them and build a blueprint on top of it, and the palamutes. The reason why I palamutes, aside from I love them so much, is their bio, or their description here, fits the same idea of having like a loyal dog, which I feel they probably had quite a few back in the days. In the medieval times, they probably did. And so rather than picking every single dog that there is in Rimworld, we have palamutes. So having them around makes us happy. Having them die makes us very sad. And basically so on and so forth of that. Now this is I think it's the Glitter World start, I believe. In case you're interested, the only thing I changed is the ages is 23 and 27, because I don't prefer to get very older people, because then you start coming into problems like frail or bad back or cataphracts, so on and so forth. Not cataphracts, but cataracts, I think they're called. Other than that, I intend on having 12 colonists. The theming being each one is named after a constellation. There is no real reason or rhyme to that. It is just my idea. The way we will pick our colonists, we can pick anyone, even of a bad faction. But there are certain traits we frown upon and certain traits we despise. If it's a trait we frown upon, you can only have one of those. If you have two, we cannot accept you. Traits we despise, you can have 0. If you have even one, we can't recruit you. We have to immediately get rid of you if you were recruited, or just, release you back to the faction, so on and so forth. Our frowned ones are bloodlust, cannibal, jealous, chemical interest, and lazy. And our despised traits are greedy, chemical fascination, and slothful. You probably noticed that like half of the frowned ones, there's a similar one on despised. Jealous is fine. It's a way you think. It is not valued, but it can be, it's natural. But to be greedy and to act upon it is considered frowned upon because we are collectivists. We work together. So one person having more is fine, but one person wanting more, but maybe not putting in the extra effort or something is not okay. Chemical fascination against chemical interest. Chemical interest, it's frowned upon because yes, you will get, you have an interest in drugs, and drugs, a lack of can oftentimes cause problems, as if we get a chemical interest person, you will probably see. Because chemical fascination being the higher tier version of that. So it's even worse if they don't get drugs. So the idea is we can't have the worst trait, but the better one we're okay with. Just we don't prefer. And our last one being lazy and slothful. Lazy, the trait as it's described in here is you hate to do work. Slothful is basically the same, just a bit worse. You hate to do work, you despise all all work that you have to do, basically. And the idea behind that is, again, we're collectivists. Everyone pitches in. If you hate it, that's fine, but you have to pitch in. If you really despise it, then we despise you, and you can get out of our colony. Those are pretty much my very few rules set in place for this Rimworld. I don't want to take away a lot of the game just because I still think I want to try and show off a lot of it for those who haven't played or haven't watched people play it, because it's a very wonderful game. The last part that does it is a little different than what you might be used to is my win condition. Yes, we are going to do the original and vanilla, not vanilla, but the non DLC win condition, which is escape via the ship. But we also have to take out 12 opposing faction bases, or bad faction bases. You may be wondering what defines a bad faction. The idea is anyone who would start a war or a skirmish just because they want to. The Rough Outlander Union, well, usually seen as the bad guys in Rimworld, yeah, they just hate us. That's that. But that does not mean that they want to always fight all the time, and potentially they could become our ally. You never know. The Fierce tribe is fierce. I feel like that self-explains it. The Savage tribe, same thing. Cannibal tribe, it's frowned upon, so we may not actually go to war with them, like go attack their faction bases. Because while yes, it can lead to them killing people so they can eat, it could also be the loss of people just through wars and such that they eat instead. Kind of recycling people, so to say. And then we have 3 pirate gangs, one of them being a cannibal pirate gang. And those 3 we want to take out because they're kind of like thieves and robbers and marauders and all sorts of bad stuff. So, of course, they are also on our list. This is currently where we are in the world. We are on a year-round growing period, which is very useful. I made sure of that. And we have a couple colonies that we can take out right off the bat when we get powerful enough to start working on that win condition. But they kind of get scarce as this is a 30% world. There's still a lot of terrain that they can spawn on. So we have like 3 nearby, and then we have a couple past a mountain range. We have a couple south of us. So we're really, I think towards the end, we're really going to have to start using drop pods to get around places, because I don't think we're going to be able to kill them otherwise. Or our caravan trip will take forever. But I thought I'd give you a whole rundown, backstory, lore, whatever you want to call it, of this new series before I actually start making the videos, just so you aren't unaware of what's happening, or I guess have a better understanding of why some things are happening and why certain things can't happen. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. I hope to see you for the start of this new series. And until next time, whether that be stream, video, message, whatever it may be, I all hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.